Hello, my fellow Americans. What we have here is, well, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it so. It can't be so. A Fender branded instrument made in Indonesia. Oh. Actually, I'll be quite honest with you. I didn't know what to expect with this thing because I went and I watched. There's really no reviews on the bass itself. There's been a few reviews on the guitars, and they're mixed. One guy outright calls it a chunk of shit. Uh, Stratocaster, I believe he had, with the candy cola finish. Um, this is the brand new, just released last month, Fender Standard Precision Bass, manufactured in Indonesia. In fact, let's see if we can get that in there. Yeah, it's upside down, but you can say made in Indonesia right there. Okay. One thing I can tell you, the hardware specs do appear to be to the American slash Mexican standard. The bridge is the same as the American slash Mexican, 5 screw holes, same size. So I'm guessing that everything else is the same. If the bridge is like that, then the pick guard and the tuners are probably the same. Okay, now the differences. What are the differences? The differences are, now it looks really nice. So obviously, it's 3 pieces of wood. You can see the 3 planks there. Okay, glued together, but it's a nice looking wood. It's not bad at all. This thing actually looks nicer in person than the renderings that I've seen at the seller websites. Um, this is a poplar body, I guess, maple neck, but the fingerboard, the fretboard, is laurel. And I mean, it looks fine. It looks good. Got a little reddish chocolatey hue to it, which, it could be mistaken for rosewood for some by somebody that doesn't know what they're looking at. I don't know what these saddles are made of, but they look aluminum. Um, the the base of the bridge, the bent piece of sheet metal, appears to be the same thickness as the Mexican version of the bass, the Player Series. I have a Player Series bridge here that I compared it to, and the screw holes line up, and it's the exact same thickness, but the saddles are different. The saddles on the Mexican Player bridge is they're chrome, some sort of alloy. I don't know what this is, but I'm guessing it's aluminum. It looks like aluminum. The pickup, instead of being an Alnico magnet in here, it's a ceramic magnet, um, which some people may not like because that is not the sound of the P bass. The P bass is I believe, had an Alnico 5, the standard vintage style 1970s, 60s, 70s P bass pickup. Um, we have a maple neck, which actually it feels pretty good. It's pretty slick. I don't have a problem with the neck, but it's not the um, big chunky sawn in half baseball bat that P basses are known for. It's a modern. They're calling it a modern C. It's not. It's not a jazz bass neck at all. It's got quite a bit more material there than on a thin jazz bass neck, but it's also not the original P bass neck, which is, that's fine. If you want the big thick neck, then you're gonna have to go with something more vintage like. But we're talking about an entry level Fender, a Fender that's not manufactured in the U.S., not manufactured in Mexico, not manufactured in Japan, but in Indonesia. Personally, I'm glad they picked Indonesia instead of China, but especially with all the things going on with threats of tariffs and all this stuff, it's just going to raise the price of everything for us. It's not going to punish anybody overseas. It's just going to cause the consumer to pay more for the products that they want to use that happen to be imported from China. Anyway, this thing is actually not a bad bass at all. I'm actually kind of impressed with it. There's some things that I'm going to change the pickup. I'm going to put an Alnico and get this ceramic pickup out of here. But let me give you a little quick play. Okay, that's with the volume all the way up and the tone all the way up. We back the tone off about midway. Well, that didn't make a whole lot of difference, did it? There we go. That's tone all the way back. So here we go. You know what? I know what it is. It's my microphone. It's picking up the sound of the strings acoustically. Let me kill the mic and let me try this again. Okay. It plays okay. I obviously, you probably heard, I probably need to work on the neck. It's been here a day. I received it yesterday, and I've been playing with the truss rod adjustment. I think I might have it just a little too far back. I might have to give it a little more, loosen the truss rod just a little bit. It does work. The truss rod works fine. The tuners work fine. It seems to stay in tune. I set it up yesterday and I let it sit. Picked it up. It was still in tune this morning. It's for an entry level. This is not a professional instrument, but I mean Fender knows that it never was meant to be a professional instrument. What it is if you like the Squire classic vibes, this seems to be a step above the Squire classic vibe. It's your they're basically making this the entry level Fender. It used to be the Mexicans Okay, the what is now called the Player Series. We called them MIMs back in the day when they started in the '90s, manufacturing in Ensenada, Mexico. Then they changed the model name from the standard is what they were. Okay, then they changed them back in not long ago. In this millennium, they changed them to the Player Series. This is what they changed the name to. Still being manufactured in Ensenada, Mexico. And then just, I think, end of last year, they changed the name again. I don't know what they did. They changed some things, and now they're calling it the Player 2 Series. All right. And now this is what is being called the standard. It's being manufactured in the same factory as the Squire classic classic Vibes series in Indonesia. Um, I think I'll tell you this. Let me tell you that. Let me give you the good points. All right, like I already said, this thing looks much better in person than it does in the renderings online. It has a very nice gloss finish. It's got a very nice, vintage style sunburst. The wood looks good. It looks the finish is done very well. Fit is nice. The neck does not move in the neck pocket. Um, the potentiometers feel good. They don't feel loose or binding. Um, they're not they feel the way that they should. They've got a little bit of resistance to them, but they're smooth. No noise in them. As you can hear, there's no scratch in either the tone or the volume pot. Um, the tuners are Fender labeled. You can see that right there. Um, they're the old style, vintage style tuners. I'm sure these are nothing high quality, but they work and the thing stays in tune. The strings it comes with appear to be, of course, don't let this fool you. The color code. I've seen people saying, "Oh yeah, those are Diodarios." No, they're not. Fender went with a color code too. Their strings, their stock strings, also have the color coded balls, just like the Diodarios. But don't make that mistake on a Fender instrument coming from the Fender factory. You're getting Fender strings. You're not getting Diodarios. Sorry. It's got a silkscreen logo, which looks pretty nice. The front of the headstock has a gloss finish, just like the whole body is gloss, but the sides and the back of the headstock and the neck back here are satin, which actually it makes it pretty slick. It's nice. I kind of like it. I mean, it's not like you would expect from an American jazz bass or even one of the higher up Mexican jazz basses, but doesn't sound bad. Doesn't sound bad at all. I'm curious to see what this thing ends up sounding like with flats on it. On to more of a description. The fret ends are fairly dressed. There is a little bit of sprout, which will easily be taken care of with just a minor amount of filing. They're pretty good. They're not up to American quality, but I can feel them. But they're not so bad that they're going to cut your fingers. When you're playing and running up and down the neck, they're not grabbing skin. They're just there. They could use just a tiny bit more filing. If they'd have spent another few minutes on it, it would be there. So that's good. The fret job itself, as far as fret installation and level, the fret job seems to be good. Another thing I noticed was the nut. The nut appears to be either bone or synthetic bone. It doesn't look like a plastic nut to me. Let me see if I can get you to see that. probably can't see the texture of it in the video here, but yeah, that looks like a synthetic bone nut or a bone nut. So that was a pleasant surprise. You know, for all intents and purposes, the thing looks like a vintage P bass. Um, I'm gonna keep it. I like it. It's actually not really heavy. It's probably between 8 and 9 pounds. I'm guessing somewhere in there. I don't think it's over 9 pounds because my Rickenbacker is a little over 9 pounds, and this isn't as heavy as the Rick. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I am gonna I'm gonna I'm going to do an up. I'm gonna upgrade the bass. Um, I want to see what a high mass bridge does for it, and I want to see what an Alnico 5 pickup does for it. Um, and I'm gonna put the brown tortoiseshell pickguard on it to make it look like a more vintage. And we'll see what happens after I make the changes. I may change the pots too. I may just change out all the wiring. We'll see. I haven't been inside it yet, so I don't know what it looks like in there. But I'm guessing it's probably thin wires and cheap Chinese manufactured potentiometers. But like I said, they feel fine and they work. It's got a nice bark. I can't complain. A couple changes and this thing will be, pretty much really close to an American standard. But the wood's different. The fretboard wood and the body wood is different. Um, it's not going to be ash or anything like that, but it's poplar. It's okay. All right, here's the bottom line. For $600, you can have a standard Fender bass, not a Squire. I remember back when they first started doing the standards in Mexico, back in the 90s. Those were $350 brand new back in the 90s. That's how much the price of things has gone up. Okay, now a Mexican Player series or Player 2 series, you're looking at base price of $900. Between $800 and $900 and up. They decided that they stopped making the Geddy Lee signature jazz bass in Japan and started making it in Mexico. You got that sitting right back there. That thing is a $1,200 or $1,300 bass. It's made in Mexico. The American version is over 2,000. So yeah, the prices of things have gone really high. I remember when you used to be able to you could get this bass, an American P bass made in California, for under $1,000, and now they're right about 2 grand. So it's a lot of money, and I want the sound of a P bass, so I got this thing. And if you go to Amazon, you can get really great deals. You can get the bridge, get the high mass bridge, and an Alnico 5 pickup with that works and works well for. You can get them both for under $100. So you put an extra $100 in, and you have now seriously upgraded the instrument. And you can stop there if you want, which I would. I wouldn't put too much money into an instrument like this, but yeah, you spend under 100. I think it's like it'd be right around $75. Plus taxes and stuff, $80, and you can upgrade the bridge and the pickup with an Alnico 5, which is going to give it a different tone to it. It's going to give it a different sound. It's going to sound more vintage, which is what we want out of a P bass. We want the P bass to sound like a P bass. I mean, the P bass was the original, first ever marketed to the public electric bass guitar. And it's gone through several changes since 1952, I think is when they came out. Um, and now here we are in 2025, and we've got the standard P bass being manufactured in Indonesia. And look at it, it's nice. You're getting okay bang for your buck. Personally, I don't think you get much bang for your buck when you buy the Americans. That's a lot of money. But hey, it is what it is. Things being what they are in the United States and the world today, you don't necessarily get what you pay for anymore. But I can live with this. I'll go out and gig with this. And I mean, in its stock form, it's not bad. It has good sustain on all the strings. They ring well. They hang on. Sustains pretty well. Not dead at all. Okay, I'm going to end this video. The new, just out for January of 2025, Fender standard precision bass, manufactured in Indonesia. Should you buy it? I don't know. That's up to you. But it is the least expensive Fender branded instrument bass that you're going to be able to get. Brand new with a warranty. They're only $600 right now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I doubt the price is going to come down. I guess the price will probably go up like everything else. But for now, they're $600 out the door. Before taxes, of course. Most places like, Sweetwater and Zounds and American Music and, all those, the big online sellers are offering free shipping. And you can get yourself a P-Bass. Y'all have a nice day, and thank you for watching. Hope this was helpful. God bless.